Well, hello, everyone. This is Ellen Metter with Keller Williams Realty here in East County. And today on our Park Bench website, we have a very special guest. We have Grandmaster Maurice Orange. Grandmaster Orange is the president of Sidekicks Martial Arts Academy. And welcome. How are you today?
Ma'am, I'm doing fine. And thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, please tell us a little bit more about Sidekicks. It looks like it's a great place for kids and adults, but especially kids. But please tell us more about Sidekicks.
Thank you for asking. Typically, people make changes in their lives for inspiration or desperation. In my case, it was a combination of both because I had belonged to a number of martial arts organizations that were basically spearheaded by the area that the martial arts came from. And I really got sick of that. And I wanted something that any child, any parent could be a part of. And that's why I started Sidekicks.
Well, perfect. Well, Grandmaster, could you tell us, please, how did you actually get started in the business? I know it's been over 30 years.
Yes. I started back in Oklahoma City in 1968. And my mom signed me up for martial arts. It was her idea. And it was also her idea that I get in the car, which she repeated several times because I really didn't like martial arts at the time. And so on my class days, I was hoping that she would ignore the get into the car command, but she always did. And she said, you're going to be something special someday. So she kept me going. And here I am 35 plus years later, still doing martial arts and still loving it every day.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, it's pretty unusual for a Grandmaster to be still teaching as much as you do. Why is it so important for you to do that?
I look at Sidekicks and I look at all of martial arts as a parent would for their own child. And I would want the guy in the school with the most experience teaching my child, or at least teaching the person that's teaching my child. Well, in Sidekicks, that's me. And I let the parents know that, I realize that every child has a biological mom or dad, but when they're in Sidekicks and when they're in uniform, they're my kid too. And I want the same things for them, like paying attention to school, paying attention at home, saying no to drugs and gangs, et cetera, that makes an absolute wonderful citizen.
It's inspirational, and we appreciate people like you helping our kids and guiding our kids. Thank you so much. Well, I know this last year has been pretty tough on businesses, and I imagine you're no different this last year with the pandemic. How did your business adjust to that, or how did it really survive under those circumstances? And how is it now? Is it fully open? And how do you proceed now?
Well, according to our governor, my business was mandated closure for 2 months last year. And we've always adhered to CDC guidelines. So we've been open. We've not had the numbers of people come in as we had in the past, but we've continued to be open because we're a staple in the community. And I've been in this shopping center longer than any other store. In fact, we're right next door to a store called Ralph's. Most people have shopped there. When I first moved in, it was Safeway. Most people don't even remember that. Right. So we've been around for a long time and we will continue to do so. We are fully open now. We're still adhering to CDC guidelines, and we're waiting for good leadership to keep our children safe.
Good, good. Well, Grandmaster Orange, I can't help but notice that you have a wing there that you're nursing. Can you tell us what happened there?
Last July 2020, last August, I was riding my motorcycle lawfully in El Cajon, and a left car turned in front of me. And there was an accident. I was immediately rendered unconscious, so I don't remember anything about the accident. But the first traffic officer that showed up was a motorcycle officer, and he pronounced me dead. And the good folks at Sharp Trauma Center picked me up, resuscitated me. I got to their hospital. They pronounced me dead as well. So for the next 4 months, I was in several hospitals, and the good folks at Sharp kept me sedated so they could do all the surgeries to get me back. And in the meantime, my school was still going with the help of assistants. And my wife, bless her heart, she came to the hospital every single day and wrote down the names of the doctor and the nurse and the procedure and so on and so forth. And this was right in the middle of COVID. So there was nothing she could do to touch me. She could just look in through the glass. And she would leave the hospital, come to the martial arts school to make sure all the classes were taught according to my wishes. This went on for 4 months.
Oh my.
And as I got out of the hospital, I was in a wheelchair because I couldn't walk. So the first 5 or 6 times I came back to Sidekicks, I was in a wheelchair. And one day I was with my wife and I said, you know what, once we go to the school, I'm going to stand up and walk. And sure enough, I did. And I've been walking fine ever since. And so this is kind of the remnants of my accident, and hope to be improved upon soon at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota.
Oh my. Well, you've obviously then become quite an inspiration to your students for not giving up, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I'm known as not being a quitter.
We really appreciate your time today, and thank you so much for being an inspiration to those kids. That's a big part of our community moving forward, and we appreciate you and the time that you spent with us today.
I appreciate your time and the community's time as well. Thank you so much.
Well, everyone, I'm Ellen Metter with Keller Williams Realty. And if you have a business or an organization that you'd like to have featured here on the Park Bench site, please get in touch with me and I'll help make that happen. So once again, thank you so much for your time, and you have a great rest of the day, and all the best of luck with your future recovery here.
Will do. Thank you so much.